Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and a very good morning, everyone. Welcome to CREAM Webinar Series 2023. Thank you so much for spending your Thursday morning with us. My name is Intan Diana, and I'll be your MC and also moderator for today's webinar. So for your information, CREAM Webinar Series 2023 is a program organized by Construction Research Institute of Malaysia, or CREAM, and it is a part of our efforts to initiate conversations on issues, challenges, opportunities, and initiatives for the construction industry and beyond. This webinar series is a monthly program, and every month we're going to have different themes. And today we will be talking about Contractors Quality Management System, or CQMS, an alternate to quality management system specifically designed for contractors and recognized by CIDB. And actually, for today's webinar is a very special webinar where CREAM is looking for 20 contractors to join our CQMS pilot project. And these 20 contractors are going to be among the first contractors to be certified with CQMS. So this pilot project compromises of free one-day training on CQMS based on CIS 29, 2021, free coaching and guidance, free audit by our competence auditors, free CQMS certification that valids for 2 years, and the weightage of the CQMS will be given to CIDB score rating equivalent to ISO 9001. And this pilot project, all of these are worth 4,000 ringgit Malaysia. So, ladies and gentlemen, we learn more about the CQMS and also the pilot project from our speakers today. You can also ask questions to our speakers later during the Q&A session at the end of the webinar. So if you have any questions for the speakers, you can drop their questions into the chat box, and I will bring them up during Q&A session later. Okay, so now before we start, I would like to invite Engineer Emra Musaran, Chief Executive Officer of CREAM, to give a welcoming remark. So please help me welcome Engineer Ramu.
Hello, good morning and salam sejahtera kepada semua yang hadir pada pagi ini. Program ini sebenarnya kita sudah mulakan promosi berhubung dengan CQMS ataupun better known as Contractors Quality Management System since last year. This program actually is based on the construction industry standard 29 published by CIDB way back in 2021. And this contractors quality management system is it was developed in 2021 as an alternate management system for contractors. It is based on the ISO 9001. But what is special about this standard is that it is focusing on the contractors, not like ISO 9001, where it is very generic and you have to come up with your own quality manual, prosedur kerja dan sebagainya, which is I think is if the contractor have the knowledge of for developing it by their own, tak ada masalah. Tetapi ramai saya tengok mereka kena lantik consultant untuk bangunkan this document dan adalah cost yang being incurred there. So therefore CIDB berpendapat pada ketika itu we should have alternate ada standard which is also a quality management system berlandaskan ISO 9001, but it has to be tailor-made to suit for contractors. Maknanya is a very specific requirements in that standard for contractors and pun masih boleh dipersijilkan seperti ISO 9001. So basically, it's the requirements are all there, and I was the chairman of this standard actually in 2021 when we developed this CIS 29 or Contractors Quality Management System. There are a few others involved in the development of this standard. It's not done by CIDB alone. It was uh, developed with the industry players and some of the names ataupun industry players yang if I can share with you like JKR, Jabatan Perumahan Negara, Master Builders Association of Malaysia. We have this PKBN Contractors, Persatuan Kontraktor Bumi Putra Malaysia. We have Reda also involved and Suruhanjaya, Perkhidmatan Air ada, kita ada Telekom Malaysia, kita ada from University representative also from UTM. So the committee is a quite a balanced committee, and it was a form, as I said earlier in 2021. It took nearly about a year for us to develop this document. And the process of developing this document is that once the draft is ready, we have to release it for public comment. So that's where many can outside there who didn't get any chance to be in the committee. So masa itulah mereka boleh komen terhadap dokumen ni sama ada boleh digunakan ataupun apa implikasi kalau nak gunakan ataupun apa yang tak betulnya pada dokumen tu, mereka boleh komen apa saja. So masa tu kita telah dapat beberapa komen from the industry, but the comment is not bertentangan dengan dokumen itu, tetapi dia lebih kepada constructive comments, meaning that they were suggesting some new things to look into and how this can simplify for the purpose for the contractors to use it for the quality management system certification purposes. So it's very constructive comments lah. Jadi we have accepted that and we have finalized the document and finally it was printed and since then we used to do a roadshow. CIDB used to do a roadshow on this awareness things in Malaysia, throughout Malaysia, including Sabah and Sarawak. Then after that, this year, 2023, CREAM has been tasked to do this by CIDB, and we have organized this webinar before. We also doing this promotion on the contractors quality management system. Okay, this we are as I said, CIDB have appointed CREAM to develop the module for the contractors to prepare the template for the quality manual for the contractors. Maknanya tak perlu nanti perunding ke apa ke. We are going to come up with a so-called standardized quality manual so that the contractor can use it immediately. The document sudah ada semua. And kita pun diminta untuk bangunkan training module for auditors. Siapa yang nak jadi auditors ni, because this is a very new document, probably hanya ada di Malaysia sahaja. In the other part of the world, I don't think so, because many are using ISO 9001 because it is an international standard. So then they customize it. Not customize, they will prepare the quality manual based on the ISO 9001 requirement. And after that, they go for the auditing purpose by third party and then persijilan ISO 9001. But in Malaysia sahaja, kita telah mempermudahkan that process. Dirujuk pada ISO 9001, keperluan yang perlu ada di situ, kita ringkaskan dan mudahkan, yang ambil yang pentingnya sahaja dan kita masukkan itu sebagai part 1. And part 2, this is where tak ada dalam ISO 9001, but it's a very focused for contractor. So if you ask me which document is better, the international document better, or the so-called our documents, so-called the kampung, the document better. I think the kampung one is better. Why? Because it's very specific for contractor. Dan dia bukan generic macam ISO 9001 where all industries can go for it. Dan they have to come up dengan dia punya own quality management systemnya, apa tu, manual and all that. So which is boleh jadi quite tedious jugalah kan, to prepare. Whereas for this document, it's already customized for contractors use. This document you cannot use for other industries, or if you want to katalah ada other industries like manufacturing ke ataupun transporter, they want to go for quality management system, tak boleh pakai. Jadi ini satu-satu dokumen yang ada di Malaysia sahaja dan mengambil kira keperluan kontraktor di Malaysia dan nak mudahkan dia punya proses. Okey. Lagi satu perkara yang saya nak announce di sini adalah dokumen ni memandangkan dokumen yang telah diterbitkan oleh CIDP, maka saya percaya tuan-tuan dan puan-puan tahu berhubung dengan score ataupun score, SCORE, iaitu the report card for the contractors yang CIDP buat tu. So, it is a 360 degree punya evaluation for the contractor, including the financial standing, macam-macam lah dia buat, lepas records, project delivery and whatnot. And ada satu section dia tengok ISO 9001, whether contractors have been certified to quality management system, macam tu. So ada weightage untuk itu. Jadi this CIS 29, which is developed by CIDB and published by CIDB, mereka dah bersetuju untuk memberi the same weightage as ISO 9001 for the purpose of evaluation of the contractor under the score program. So ini berita baik kerana saya dapati CIDB dah immediately recognize this document. Maknanya kalau contractor tak ada ISO 9001 pun tak ada masalah. Kalau dia boleh dapatkan certification for CS 29, dia bagi equal weightage semasa buat penilaian untuk score, ya. SCORE itu ada satu program bawah pendaftaran kontraktor dan pembangunan kontraktor yang dibuat di CIDB lah. So itu satu berita yang baik, ya. The other one is that ini yang sangat berita menggembirakan, iaitu untuk makluman tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, certification for ISO 9001 adalah dianggarkan sekitar 7,000 hingga 15,000 bergantung kepada size organisation and bilangan staff dan sebagainya. Kalau besar maka dia ada man hour beberapa hari, 2 hari atau 3 hari. So the charges is go according to the size of the organisation and the scope and also bilangan staff di suatu organisation. Whereas CIS 29 ataupun Contractors Quality Management System, it is or CQMS, our audit is only 1 day. Regardless of how big your organisation or your organisation is small, kita tak buat 2 jam, 3 jam, tak ada. Mesti 1 hari juga. Because why this is possible? No matter how big the organisation or how many staffs are there, it is possible because we are introducing a standard template documents for the certification purpose. Bermakna quality manual tuan-tuan perempuan akan di-standardiskan. Jadi ini akan memudahkan untuk auditor untuk audit. Dia kalau kita biarkan satu company dibangunkan sendiri, what will happen is that Masing-masing akan bangunkan mengikut dia punya own prosedur. Ada yang tebal, ada yang sikit. Jadi dia tak sama. Jadi ini akan ambil masa sikit untuk auditor to understand whether we call this adequacy lah, the adequacy of the documentation part. So mereka kena check semua tu dulu baru boleh buat. Ini akan ambil masa sikit. Jadi untuk CIS 29 atau CQMS, isu tu tak timbul lagi. Kerana kita sudah standardiskan di mana dokumen ini akan dibangunkan oleh CRIM for CIDB untuk kegunaan kontraktor nanti. Maknanya preparation of the documentation tu dah dipermudahkan untuk kontraktor. Lepas dia hadir khusus, dia akan dapat soft copy dan dia dah boleh tukar je lah nama kat situ sana dan implement dekat dia punya organisation, and after that go for the certification. Of course, they still have to do the internal audit and management review and whatnot. Sama seperti ISO 9001, but in the simple way. Kita ada letak dalam standard tu macam mana. You boleh download sebenarnya this standard from CIDB website. Just go to CIDB website www.cidb.gov.my. You go to publication, then you click sana, you boleh nampak semua standard construction industry standard yang telah dipublish oleh CIDB. As of today, dia ada 30. CIS 30 on the PMT, project management tool. Itu yang terbaru tak silap saya. And this one is yang kita topik hari ini adalah on the 29, CIS 29. So now go back to the cost. Cost of this certification, as I said, for ISO 9001, daripada semakan kami di luar sana, the fee for certification alone is anything from 7 to 15,000 there. But CIDB telah minta kita tengok balik benda ni dan they are giving us what they call some subsidy to look into this, and we have decided to we have proposed to CIDB that we be charging, including for the training, 1 day training. For other certification, the certification body dia tak bagi training. But in our case, kita akan bagi training pada kontraktor 1 hari. Plus, of course, masa training kita bagi makan minum semua lah. Macam biasa lah. Kita buat hotel. Then, the certification kita buat. Total fee will be RM4,000. So, this is sudah dapat 50%, lebih daripada 50% off with the termasuk dengan training sekali kita bagi. So I think this is, and also you got a recognition. You got a recognition from CIDB for score purpose. And now CIDB also talking to MOF, Ministry of Finance, untuk mempertimbangkan this document sebagai alternate kepada ISO 9001 dan memberi pengiktirafan supaya projek-projek kerajaan pun kalau mereka tak ada ISO 9001, kalau ada CQMS certification, should be acceptable. And talkings on this going on with MOF, kerana MOF ada dia ada requirement for certain projek kerajaan dia nak tengok kontraktor, menjadi satu kewajipan kena ada ISO 9001. So kita minta mereka to tengok juga CIS 29 sebagai alternate document for the keperluan quality management system, which I think they are quite positive on that, tapi belum ada apa-apa keputusan. This is CIDB tengah follow up dengan mereka, but for immediate recognition CIDB sudah bagi untuk score, and this program is sangat kata apa berbaloi lah bagi saya lah, kerana harga dah lah murah. Lepas tu you pun boleh dapat CPD point apabila you terlibat dalam training 1 hari itu nanti. You will get maximum points, 15 points you will get for your renewal purpose. So itu dah dapat dah lagi. And after that, you pun dah dibagi latihan yang cukup 1 hari. Satu company boleh hantar 2 orang. Untuk makluman, satu company boleh hantar 2 orang. So that is all inclusive, RM4,000 itu. And including certification. So saya harap program ni akan menarik ramai untuk mohon. Dan kalau you tanya saya sekarang whether I'll be ready to, katalah you tomorrow you come and say you want to go for certification, no check, tunggu. Kita macam saya sebut tadi, kita baru tengah bangunkan dokumen-dokumen yang berkenaan dan dijangka siap pada Ogos ini. Dan after that kita akan conduct this pilot project for 20 contractors based on the first come first serve basis. And kita ada lain-lain kriteria yang saya kena tengok, iaitu saya nak ambil daripada G1 sampai G7, saya kena ada participation of these contractors. 20 contractors, saya tidak kenakan apa-apa bayaran, tak ada bayaran untuk program ni. It is a pilot project fully subsidized by CIDB. Maknanya you terus dapat RM4,000 itu free. You dah boleh participate in this program. Saya tak boleh buat untuk semua kerana CIDB dia bagi untuk first 20 sahaja. Adalah kriteria lain yang saya kena tengok macam saya sebut tadi. And after that, KRIM akan engage dengan 20 kontraktor yang telah menunjukkan minat untuk sertai this pilot project. Dan kami akan sama-sama gunakan dokumen yang telah dibangunkan, coach them and see whether that document they boleh faham dan they are ready for the certification. So dengan ini mereka akan di certify ultimately. So they'll be the first 20 contractors in Malaysia will be certified. Dan after that, I percaya ramai akan datang selepas itu, tetapi kena bayar RM4,000. Sekarang tak perlu bayar. Pasal kita dalam proses pembangunan. Dan what we are trying to do is to see whether these documents and can be understood by the contractors and mana hiccup dia semua tu, supaya kita boleh betul-betulkan that part. And eventually this document is dah boleh pakai dan terus boleh diguna untuk the proper certification purpose later on. Tapi itulah dia. Dia akan melibatkan bayaran belah, kerana mana ada free lunch for everyone. So kita pilot project tak ada masalah. We can do that. Okay, I think that's all I can share with you this morning. And saya harap today's webinar memberi manfaat kepada semua yang hadir di sini. Dan saya mengalu-alukan kalau sesiapa yang berminat untuk this pilot projects, please let us know after this webinar. Dan kita akan buat selection berdasarkan pada macam adalah beberapa kriteria kita kena tengok. First come first serve, lepas tu kita kena ada taburan yang daripada G1 hingga G7. Kita nak tengok sama ada G1 boleh buat ataupun G7 pun kita nak tengok kontraktor besar pun macam mana dia boleh buat. This is just an alternate document for ISO 9001. If you are already certified to ISO 9001, boleh ke you pergi for this document? Boleh je, if you want to do. Tetapi kalau you tak nak buat pun tak ada masalah. But you punya nak maintain ISO 9001 is expensive lah. Itu saja. Every year you ada surveillance audit dan sebagainya. Ini pun akan ada surveillance audit. Tapi the price is jauh beza. Jauh beza. Immediately I boleh bagi tahu terus. It's a 50% off. Immediately saya boleh bagi tahu 50% off for surveillance audit and recertification ke apa ke. It is consider as mana boleh dapat this price. You pergilah cari dekat satu dunia pun saya ingat tak boleh dapat this one. Okay, with that note, selamat berwebinar atau selamat berkursus. Thank you. I pass to Diana back. Thank you, Diana.
Okay, thank you, Engineer Ramusaran, for your speech. And we can see in the chat, so many people are interested in this pilot project, and we already have some questions. So later on during the Q&A session, we will ask the speakers lah on your questions. And regarding yang nak sertai pilot project, at the end of the webinar also, we're gonna show you the poster so you can scan and share your details lah. And then we will select the contractors and register to the registration form later on, all right? So let's start our webinar with our first speaker for today. So let me introduce the first speaker first, Technologist Syed Hazni Abdul Ghani. He is a certification manager at Construction Research Institute of Malaysia. He joined CREAM in May 2008 and was appointed as test engineer under Makmur Kerja Raya Malaysia. But in 2014, he has been appointed and given responsibilities to lead and set up a new department, which is CREAM Certification Services based on ISO 17065-2012. He holds a Master MN in Civil Engineering from University Technology Mara, UITM, in 2016, and Bachelor Engineering in Civil Engineering from UITM in 2023. Currently, he is a professional technologist of the Malaysian Board of Technologies, graduate member of BEM, IEM, and Malaysian Steel Structural Association. He represents CREAM as a member of the Technical Committee of Earthquake and CASCO under Department Standard Malaysia, DSM. In CIDB Malaysia, he involves in construction industry standard for RMC, CIS 21, and force work in construction, CIS 23. As a certification manager, he is responsible to establish procedures and guidelines related to QLA6, SHA6, and product certification, and ensure that the correct interpretation and implementation of procedures and standards in the certification process. He has a vast experience in developing MS ISO 9001 2008 for CREAM and ISO 17025 2005 for Makmur Kerja Raya Malaysia. He is a qualified auditor and lead auditor by International Register of Certified Auditors ISO 9001. He is also a technical assessor for ISO IEC 17025 under Department Standard Malaysia, a qualified professional and assessor for MyCREST and Shasik assessor of CIDB Malaysia. So please welcome Technology Syed Hazni.
Okay, Assalamualaikum and very good morning to everyone. First, I would like to thank our moderator, Technologist Itadiana. Thank you, very nice introduction about me. And also thank you to my CEO, IRM Ramusaran. They give more briefing on this CQMS, our promotion and our benefit if you come as our pilot projects. So now my turn to share about this contractor quality management system, CQMS, alternative for the ISO 9001. Okay. And I also like to thank you all the participants because you spent your this morning to attend our CREAM webinar series for 2023. Okay. 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 As mentioned by our moderator, Technologist Intan. So as for your information, I'm already working with CREAM more than 10 years. Currently, I'm a manager for Center for Quality Assurance and Certification. For your information, just to share what we did under the CQC before we go to our business today for the CQMS. So for your information, CQC is one of department under CREAM. We are focusing a lot of certification program. This is a snapshot of our program under CQC. We have a lot of program just to share to all the participants. If you are interested to join our certification, we can fulfill your needs, especially for the quality, for safety, for environment, and quality for the material. So before I start with my presentation, I think I also like to announce, beside all the pilot project announcement by my CEO, For your information, all the project government for the QLASIC, SHASIC, if you do the project, government project in 2023, all the fees are borne by CIDB. So please grab also this opportunity, because maybe this only for 2023 project for the government project that using QLASIC and SHASIC. So I hope if you are contractor, if you are developer, takes this opportunity to apply the QLASIC and SHASIC. Beside of the pilot project of the CQMS, we have 20 projects for the industry to participate in our program for the certification. Okay, now we begin with our topic today about this CIS 29. For your information, as mentioned by my CEOs, CIS 29 already published in 2021. It is one of standard which is focused on the contractor. I think a lot of people, what the difference between the CIS 29 with the ISO 9001. There's a lot of difference, but the main requirement of the general management requirement under the ISO 9001 already stated under CIS 29. Okay. So this some data about contractor. I think and there are a lot of contractor. Why we develop this CQMS? We want to, the objective, the first, to improve or escalate the contractor, our local contractor, to become more systematic in terms of quality and so on. These are good things for our industry, especially construction industry. Okay, this some issue what when we develop this standard, these are some issue that I would like to share the challenge for the contractor, local contractor, especially I think if you are the big contractor, I think this not a problem, but the contractor from like my CEO say from G1 to G6, maybe they needs this standard to improve, enhance their system. The first, I think the challenge is systematic process and procedure. They need to have the systematic process and procedure. They have also need the data and records, responsibility and scope of works, and also they need to have the internal audit and organization commitment, and also lastly is continuous improvement process. All this challenge and issue is I think more focused on the contractor. I think this is a good for contractor to participate in the CQMS program. Okay. Okay, what is quality? I think a lot of people will say about the quality. There's a lot of definition of quality, but we are focused on the quality in constructions. Means that the project or this component are completed in conformance as defined in the scope of works that reflect the owner expectation. The owner, the project owner, the developer expectation, fulfill the specification of conformance and full the acceptance of the project. For information, quality basically the standard. Okay, it's a standard, a goal to set the requirements. Okay, so I mean that quality is a measurable goal. You need to measure. That's why the CIS 29 was established to measure what the compliance of the requirement that you can comply for the certification. It begins with awareness. That's why this is one opportunity. I think previously we have a webinar in March 2023. We are trying to promote our program CQMS as part of awareness to the industry to know about the certification of the CIS 29. Okay. Okay, who's involved? For that, I think maybe some of the question of from the participant of the industry. What the problem? What the main problem of organization? Why we develop this standard? First, I think the first is poor planning. We look into the poor planning. That's why the standard is very beauty. For me, my views is a beauty standard because everything is there. You can comply the standard, the requirement. already stated under the CI 29. So the second thing, I think about the poor communication, duplication of the responsibility, lack of the skill, manpower. These are some of the problem that can overcome if you apply the CI 29. Because under CI 29, we also put the train record, the manpower for the train, the material, the equipment, and so on already state under the CI 29. So as mentioned by my CEO who's involved the standard, actually this standard is, from my view, is a industry standard because they have a lot of participants from the industry, from the SM, from our DBKL, PWD, Jabatan Perumahan Negara, Master Builders, Persatuan Kontraktor Bumi Putera Malaysia, REDA, and also SIRIM, SPAN, Telecom, and University Technology Malaysia. These some of the who's involved as a part of the technical committee under CI 29 2021. Okay, so what is the CI 29? Okay, actually for your information, CI 29 is an independent system to evaluate the implementation of the quality management system for the contractor. You see that the word is contractor. The keyword is more on the contractor based on the requirement of the standard. So CI 29 was established only focused for the contractor, not for developer, for the project owner, but only for the contractor. It offers the structure framework by establishing the clear cohesive principle of requirement supported by the guideline. As mentioned, we also have the auditor guidance and also the auditee guidance. So everything under the CIS 29, you can follow this the requirement and the scheme. And then it set the structure quality requirement for the contractor in dealing with the tendering. The first is a contractor, construction planning, procurement, construction works, and post-construction processes that enable to continue the improvement and delivery of the quality project time. So for information, under the QMR ataupun GMR, General Management Requirement, I think, okay, this is what the objective, before I go to the scope of the CI 29, I think what the objective, we establish the CI 29, firstly to identify the criteria in evaluating the contractor implementation based on quality management system. That's why, as mentioned earlier, this is a part of SCORE and MCORE. It one of the additional value added for the contractor. If you want to, when you want to get the more marks on the SCORE and MCORE, this one part can be one of the evaluation scheme. Then to determine the tools in assessing the effectiveness of the contractor quality management system, and then to establish framework of the standard quality management system in delivering the construction service into the industry, and lastly to provide the third-party certification based on requirement of this standard. So currently, CRIM already appointed by CIDB Malaysia to focus for the certification program to develop the ecosystem and also the support system based on the auditor, based on the template, based on the trainer. So when the ecosystem already established, I think maybe in August, we can implement the certification program to the industry, to the construction contractor. Okay, this the topic I would like to share to all of you. I think there's two major scope under the CI 21. One is the general management requirement. Another one is construction management requirement. For information, general management requirement is look like the ISO 9001. It have some requirement already stated under ISO 9001. We put again under inside the CIS 29, which is we focus on the organization, we focus on the process, the conformity, and so on. So I think the second is the construction management requirement, whereas we focus on the construction sector, construction process and procedure. Whereas we under our appendix, we already shared how the process from the tendering, the construction planning, the construction, and so on. Okay. So what the main objective? I think the activity of the organization, we can first we can identification the process and their interrelationship between the GMR and also CMR, the sequence and also the interaction. And then we also can, under the standard, we establish the criteria, the means of the effectively operate, monitor, measure, analysis, and also the control process. That's why the record is very important. So if you read our standard CQMS, the evidence base we already stated. So you need to comply the evidence base for the auditor to verify either your evidence is enough or not. Okay. So now I focus on this GMR first. So I think for the GMR, General Management Requirement, it have some, I think, 9 requirement under GMR. The first is leadership and commitment. Then we also look into the documented information, communication, analysis and performance evaluation, internal audit, management review. So this, I think, if you conduct the ISO 9001, you very familiar for the internal audit and also management review. And also we look into the non-conformity and corrective action based on the internal audit, what your next action you taken by your organization. And then we'll also look into the client requirements. And lastly, we also look into the continuous improvement. Okay. So for the leadership and commitment, what we look into, the first, we look into your guidance for the effectiveness. Means that how you communicate with your subordinate, especially your workers, quality policy and quality objective. And then maybe you have a quality management system, how you integrate between the QMS. Because I think most contractor, when based on my experience last year, previous year, contractor, they have a lot of requirement from the authority. Like they also have a environmental management plan. They also have a safety management plan. So how you can integrate? I think this is a good opportunity, because we can integrate from the requirement GMR to your existing requirement. So then we also look into the resource needed, ensuring intended objective, and also communicating, as I mentioned, how you communicating with your team. And then we also look into the supporting and suggesting to the employees, and lastly to supporting other relevant management roles. Okay, this some requirement under leadership. I think it is more focused on your commitment of your leader and also your team for this to fulfill the requirement of the quality management system. So for your information, the next requirement more focused on the documented information. This is very important, because we look into your how you control the document. Okay, how you review, because some document, when you as we know that if you document control and control of documented information, we can look into the review and approval. You have a quality manual, you have a standard operating procedure, you have a working instruction, how you control. Because for my views, maybe time to time it needs to have improvement after you conduct the internal audit or management review. For example, for the training purpose, you need to have another training for your workers, for your trade. So this is a kind of how you control your document, how you record. And then the third one is communication, hierarchy of the submission and approval. We look into your record, time response for RFI, request for information. And then lastly, for the communication, under the communication, we look into the effective project information and dissemination. Okay, this some requirement under documented information and communication. I think the next requirement under the analysis and performance evaluation. For information, under the analysis and performance evaluation, we look into the conformity of the construction works, the degree of client acceptance of works. I think this more focus on your requirement of the specification. But for my views of the standard, because we have an appendix for the how you evaluate the standard. So this requirement you can comply because every project this is the minimum requirement of the contractor. And then we also look into the performance and the effectiveness of the CQMS, effectiveness of planning and action taken to delivering the project on time. If you have a EOT, you need to record as part of the documented control. The performance of external provider, if you have a external provider for your subcontractor and so on, and the need of improvement to the CQMS. This some requirement under general management requirement. So this I think every know about the internal audit and management review. This the basic requirement for the quality management system. We need to have the internal audit. Why we need to internal audit? Because we want to the internal third party evaluate and conform to the requirement, and also we look into the effectively implemented and maintained. So if you have some program or procedure, either the procedure is comply with the requirement, or you need to improve or escalate the program, the working instruction and so on. Okay. The next, we are focusing on the management review. After the internal audit, you need to conduct the management review, because under the management review, the top management is there. They will give us some decision if any problem to be taken out. So we look into the status of action from the previous. We also look into the performance of effectiveness, adequacy of resources, and opportunity of improvement OFI. So from the report of the management review, as a part of the auditing process, we will look into how you overcome the issue, and how maybe you need to have some to solve the problem by decision from your top management. Okay, the next under the GMR, we also look into the non-conformity and corrective action, especially on the complaints. If you have a record your complaint arising non-conformity complaints, and then we also look into the corrective action and non-conformities. We also look into your NCR side, if there any NCR from your clients, your consultant, you will look into how you overcome the problem. And then we also look into your non-conforming outputs and the contractor documented information. Okay, these some requirement under non-conformity and corrective action. So the next, we also for under the GMR requirement, we look into the client's requirement fulfillment. We look into your work progress. Maybe during the auditing process, we take one projects, or we look into how you control the project, or the previous projects, how you control from the work progress, you control the process and the procedure, and also the occupational safety and health and environment, as I mentioned before. All the project, I think mostly they have a safety management plan and also environmental management plan, and also how you control your quality of works based on the specification that already stated under from the project owner. And lastly, under GMR, we also focus on the continued improvement, because I think this is a very important from the when you want to next project, what the improvement you can take from the previous project. For example, I think the first we look into the how you improving the quality of works to meet the requirements, future needs and expectation. For example, I think when we conduct the construction project, maybe previously you use A-frame for your shoring. Currently, for information, under the Act CIS 22, CIS 23, the airframe cannot be used for the shoring. This is one of the improving the quality of works process. I think the requirement already stated by the regulatory. So maybe some requirement under the DOSH, under CIDB Malaysia, you can fulfill the requirement and enhance your standard operating procedure, working instruction, and so on. And then we also look into the correcting, preventing, and reducing the undesired effects. We also look into improving the performance, competency, and effectiveness continually. This is very important because under the quality means that the improvement for time to time, how we improve our system. We don't take to find the mistake, but we want to improve your system from time to time. This is a good of the uh, quality management system focus on the contractor. So how we look into the guideline for implementation and certification GMR under GMR, the short form of the general management requirement. So this appendix already stated under CIS 29. We look into some requirement. I think it is already stated. This, as I mentioned, this is the beauty of the standard because everything already stated under standard. You just need to comply the requirement. For example, I give you one example for internal audit. So you need to establish one internal audit program, maybe for 3 years. When you want to conduct the internal audit program, you want to plan the audit program, who will become your auditor, auditee, and so on. So then you have the internal audit plan, the program audit, internal audit plan, whereas the auditee and the auditor what they want to check and so on. So the internal audit plan and internal audit report, including the non-conformance report and observation, including its status. So means that if you have conduct the internal audit, you need to have what the next either the what you're planning for the close from the outcome from the internal audit. Okay, this some sharing how to comply the requirement under CIS 29 2021. The one example for internal audit. So I think that's all for the GMR, general management requirement. So now I focus on the for the construction management requirement, in short, CMR. Okay. The beauty of the standard because if you go to ISO 9001, we look into there can be a lot of sector, but for CIS 2029, it only focus on the contractor. So that's why we established the second part. The first part is GMR. The second part is CMR, construction management requirement. Whereas we focus on the process on the tendering until the post construction. Okay, I will go through part by part. Okay, the first part under the tendering. The first part under the construction management requirement, we look into the tendering. For the tendering, we have 3 elements that we'll check. The first element, the first element, what we check from the tender management, the tender pricing scheme, and tender negotiation. So this from this part, the contractor shall ensure the ability to meet the requirement, especially the project for the conducting review before the committing to participate. I think for the tender management, where you want to participate any tender in Malaysia, you have your scheme, your system, how you manage the pricing scheme and so on. Because you need to evaluate your subcontractor, you need to evaluate your material supplier and so on. So these are the requirement need to have a record and so on. Okay. Okay, the next, I think the critical, one of the critical point under the CMR is a construction planning, because this the planning before we go to the construction process. The first is to assign the project identification, because you have a lot of projects. You need to identify your projects. maybe you have 4 or 5 projects one time. You need to have a team, appoint the project leader and team members, especially your project manager, project engineer, and so on. Whatever name you put under your process or project construction. And then you need to compliance with the legal and other requirements. Okay, this is very important. For example, under the material, you need to comply with the CIDB requirement under Act 520. We also look into your under fault schedule, any product, any material already listed under fault schedule. Please make sure you have a perakuan pematuhan standard from or certificate of conformity from CIDB. But before that, you need to have product certification. So in CRIM, we also offer the product certification together with the construction product approval for the material and also the IBS product. So this is a requirement you need to comply, because during the auditing process, we look into this. For example, you have a ready-mix concrete. You use the ready-mix concrete. But from the record, you take from the not certified from the CIDB Malaysia. So you will put under non-compliant NCR. So you need to make sure your product, your material need to have or shall have the perakuan pematuhan standard from CIDB Malaysia. And then we also look into the decision of the construction methodology, especially on your method construction, because for example, if you conduct the project like the as I mentioned, my previous experience for the indoor water, you need to have a authorized entrant, authorized permit, a person that need to give your permit before you enter the confined space. This is the methodology you need to comply. Then we also look into the establishment of the work program you need to have, and then drawing up the site layout plan, and also planning of the QA/QC method and OSH, and also the environment requirement. So I mean that's for your construction. You need to have the quality assurance and quality control for your method to make sure your product is good for the quality. So you need for OSH safety. For your information, under CRIM we also offer for the QLASIC. If you want to third party inspection or assessment through our program, and also safety, we also have for chassis. I think this is good for uh, your improvement, because we look into this to provide service to industry to enhance and escalate your quality, safety, and also environment. Okay. So next, we look into the procurement. Procurement very important, because it takes I think the 3M. One, the materials; one, the machineries; one, manpower. So for your information, beside the material under the fault schedule, you also need to know about the manpower, because the trade under Act 520 also they have mentioned about under the third schedule, they about the manpower of the trade. So you need to have all the kind of the requirement. Okay. So for machinery, I think if you use for the big one, maybe you need to have requirement on the DOSH requirement, because if you like the high rise, you use a crane and so on. And then this we look also your project financing, but it depends on your finance programs. Okay. This procurement. Mostly procurement, we look into your records. Your record, your documented, how you record manpower planning. Maybe you need to have training. For example, you need to have a training for your scaffolder. So you need to send them for the training. We need to the manpower already competence for the works. Okay. Then we go to the next stage, the construction works. What we do, what we look into for the construction work, we look into the mobilization to site, your records, incoming material inspection and testing, material, machinery and equipment handling, construction activities, progress monitoring, joint inspection and progress claim. If you have a joint inspection with the client, your project owner, maybe you have some record attendance and so on, housekeeping and project handover and obtaining the CCC and CPC. So this under the construction works, mostly the main we want to look as an auditor is construction activities, because construction they have a lot of various of the activities. Maybe you are mechanical electrical contractor, maybe you are civil contractor. So the civil contractor and the maybe the difference between the civil and structural contractor, the activity is different. So you need to list out all the activities. So auditor will look into that. Okay. Then we also look into, after all the complete, we look into your post-construction. Mostly we are focusing on the rectification work during the DLP. If you have a defect liability period for the construction. And then I think after DLP, you need to have a certificate of making good defect or the record of defect, how you overcome the defect and so on. And then lastly, the project close out and final claim. Okay, this is a requirement we look into during the post-construction. For your information, our audit, it is based on the record. So need to be a proper record, proper documented, so easy for the auditor to check how you implement or comply with the CI 29. Okay. So for your information, under CI 29, we have give your guidance. So as mentioned, my CEO, we already put our guidance to easy how to implement the certification, the process. Under the guidance, you can see under the appendix B. I think you can download the standard, because the standard is a public document. You can go to the CIDB website and download the document for the CI 29. So what the implementation of the certification or under CMR, we have three components that you need to comply. One is duration. Another one is responsibility. And then the very important is evidence of result. So if you can produce your evidence of result during the audit, we can put as comply. So the duration means that you need to determine your reasonable and practical duration. Maybe for the mechanical, electrical, different duration with the civil and structural contractor. But it depends on your reasonable and practical duration. For example, you want to construct the trench for the civil structure where you want to put the pipe laying. It depends on your side. Okay, the process shown in the flow chart. So the second one is responsibility. We don't put exactly what the responsibility, because maybe your project is a small one or big one. It different of the responsibility. For the contractor, for example, maybe contractor G1 or G2, maybe they only have the project engineer to solve all the to control or monitor all the projects from A to Z. They have a supervisor. But maybe for the big project, more 100 million, they have a project director. It depends on the your project values and your project's implementation. So the last, the evidence of result. Contractor may add evidence of the result where applicable for the process identified above. So when you read the CI 29, you see we already mentioned about the evidence of result, but you can add more if you have the result, the evidence. But the requirement under CIS 29 is the minimum requirement. Whereas I think when I see the requirement, we can comply. We can comply the requirement, because this is a minimum requirement for the contractor to comply. to fulfill all the requirement before you get the certification. Okay. Okay. This is example for the certification, implementation and certification of the construction management requirement. I give one example for you to understand how to implement the CI 39. For example, this one is establishment of work program. So when you want to add on your quality manual, you can use this program as your guidance from the start until the end. So we look into the confirmed construction schedule, deadline, and rate of planning. So you can see the duration you can put. Maybe you need time. Maybe you need 7 days. Who's the responsible for the work program? Maybe I think a project engineer. Then the evidence you need to have a schedule for the work program and also rate of construction works. Then we look into the plan and prepare work program and submit to the client or representative. Maybe we can see your evidence for your submission, the draft work programs. Okay. And then we look into your record, either the program will approve or no. Okay. This is how to read the flow. Then if yes, you will come with finalize the work program. So if you give us the work program and also rate of construction works, I think you can comply the requirement for under the item 3 to 5 for establishment of work program. This is how I share to all of you how to comply with the requirement to get the certification. Okay. This one example. This second example, I share to all of you also how to comply the requirement for this for the item 332 machinery equipments. So during the auditing process, we look into your quality manual from the start. How you identify the machinery requirement. So we look into your evidence of the result. You maybe have a machinery plan, you have a rental or leasing contract. So the record you need to provide to us. Then we look into the consider type of machinery. If you have a list of equipment, you can give to us and identify the supplier or subcontractor. Because machinery, I think some of the machinery you sub to the third party. And then agreement of supply, rental, and leasing the contracts. We look into that, the records. Receive machinery of service. So for receive machinery or service, there is no evidence of the result. But if you have, you can add to the evidence. Maybe you have a approval from your top management for the receive machinery and services. The project manager need to approve when you receive machinery or services. This you can put it here. But under standard, this is a minimum requirement, but you can include the other if you have for your records. Okay, this under the mobilization or to the site. This is one of the sharing I share to all of you. From the start, how you plan for site mobilization and inform the client on the date of intention. What evidence we check? We check your site mobilization correspondent. Maybe you will have some record from your contractor for your subcontractor and so on. And so we look into your permit and license from the relevant authority. As I mentioned before, maybe for the crane, you need to have from DOSH and so on. And then we look into the received site possession confirmation letter. This the record we need to look site possession confirmation letter, obtaining necessary permit, and mobilize to the site. And lastly, to conduct kickoff meeting at the site with the client representative. During this stage, we look into your minutes of the kickoff meeting. Maybe you have a kickoff meeting. We will look into this. Okay. Okay, next, what the benefit of the CIS 29? For me, as mentioned, I think my CEO already mentioned a lot of benefit, either internal or external. For me, I think this is good to enhance your system, your quality management system. And then for the external, maybe they can use it as part of your knowledge and to improve, to evaluate your contractor, your subcontractor, and so on. Okay, these are some of benefit. I think the benefit, the rest I already mentioned my CEO, especially on we look into this pilot project, especially one of the alternative beside ISO 9001. Okay. Okay. I think some of you maybe want to become the auditor. So for the auditor, there's some requirement I share to all of you. The requirement first, you need to have a ISO 9001 lead auditor, and then 1 day training for CIS 29 and 3 years of experience in the construction sector. So 1 day training from the CIS 29, CRIM will conduct the training and we will inform you, and then after that you can apply as the auditor for the ISO CQMS. Okay, this some requirement to become the. I think some people already communicate with me how to become the auditor. This is a minimum requirement to become the auditor, ISO 9001 auditor. Then you attend the 1 day training CIS 29. After that, you have 3 years experience in construction sector. So then under the CIS 29, we also give one as the auditor guide. How the auditor will conduct the audit. Okay, for general management requirement, you want a sample. So for example, for this part, general GMR, general management requirement, during the audit process, they will verify your quality policy and quality objective. They also verify your organization chart, your records, your establishment recognition if you have, and also verify minute of meeting of the MR, management review. And then we also look into the documented information. We also focus on the establish your document master list. You have a list of document. We look into your records. How you distribute your list of document to your team member. And then we also look the review and approval of the management system document for use. Change the amendment list of document. If you change, for example, you change your quality manual. For example, the working instruction you change. You need to mention under the list of document. And then lastly, I think this same establish a document master list. Okay. So what we check during the general management for the requirement communication. First, communication record such as email, letter, website. We also look into the engineering instruction, architect instruction, variation, order, and omission. These some are evidence that we check during the program. And then we also look into analysis and performance evaluation, the data and performance achievement report, if you have the record. And then we also, how we check the internal audit and management review. These are the evidence result that we check. Establishment of internal audit program, internal audit plan, and how you overcome your non-conforming reports and observations. And then we also look into the management review plan, management review agenda, management review report, and minute of meeting, including the action plan. From the problem, how you take the action from the internal audit issues during the management review. And then under GMR, we have another three. What is non-conformity and corrective action? We look into this non-conforming reports, records, and how you conduct, you take the corrective action from the issues. And then we also look into your client requirement fulfillment, client requirement survey and analysis. And lastly, we look into your continuous improvement, especially how you register your improvement initiative, including the progress. Means that if you have improvement, how you control your records for the improvement, and maybe the improvement take sometimes the progress must be recorded. Okay. Okay. I think this just to share what audit checklist we establish for your sharing session, because I think during the audit the auditor we use the audit checklist. What we check, it depends on the what we establish for the audit checklist. For your permission, for the audit, we have a three component. One is compliance, means that the requirement is addressed. Secondly, about the non-compliance and CR, means the document issued by CRIM describing the non-compliant to the specified requirement. And lastly is observation, OFI, are those opportunity for improvement. So the non-compliant, we have two, one is major, another one is minor, but it depends on the documented procedure. For example, the major non-compliant to be specified requirement or documented procedure are not existent, or procedure is not implemented. So you don't have the procedure, you also don't have the procedure have, but not implemented. The second one is minor SCR, non-compliant due to inadequacy to address the specified requirement, fulfill the non-existing of record, and or record not adequately maintained. So lastly, level 3 is comply satisfactory in all aspects in the specified requirement. Procedure are adequate and adequately documented, and also the record are available. So during the audit, so if you have a record, you have a procedure, and we will put under level 3 compliance. Okay, how the audit checklist looks. Okay, this example for the audit checklist looks. We look into for this GMR. We have 5 columns. One we put under clause, and the other things is requirement. We look into for example, this one for the leaderships and commitment. We have 3 mains. One is comply, major, and minor. If you comply, we will take under for example, you have a quality policy and objective. We take under the comply. So if you comply all the requirement 1 to 5, I think the clause for the 2.1 under CI 29 is comply. Okay. Then this for the clause 2.6, there's example for how we check for this requirement for the management review and quality decision. Under we have 4 points to check: management review plan, agenda, report, and minute of meeting. So if you can provide all the record, or the plan, agenda, we will put under the comply. So you can comply under clause 2.6. The first one is under GMR. The second is the sample under CMR, construction management requirement. So for example, this one under clause 3.2, subclause 3.2.2, whereas we look into the appointment of the project leader and team members. For this purpose, we look into the appointment letter for the project leaders and team members. We also look the certificate of qualification and also the organization chart for the site, not the office, but for the site. So if you can provide all the 3 documents, we will put under the comply. If not, if you don't have an appointment letter, we will put under the major. But this is a kind of how we conduct the audit during the audit. Then this one for the construction works. Example for the construction works under the clause 3.4, subclause 3.4.6. We look into the progress monitoring. We look into your progress report and also work progress. Okay, so if you can provide, automatically we can put under comply. Okay, as I mentioned, how to comply with the requirement, because this audit checklist it depends on what under the CI 29. We don't put more than that. We only check the minimum requirement under CI 29, especially under the Appendix A and Appendix B. Okay, I think that's all. Thank you. I think maybe we can meet again during the Q&A session. So I pass back to technologist Intan Diana. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Technology Side, for your presentation. Technology Side will join us later after during the Q&A session. So let me introduce to you our second speaker, Encik Farid Hafizuddin Zamri. He is a certification officer working at CRIM and an auditor for CRIM certification body. CRIM Certification Services, CCS. He graduated with a Bachelor of Technology Management from University Tun Hussein on Malaysia, UTHM. He is a certified competent leader auditor for ISO 9001 and was involved extensively in the development of
Sorry, saya tengah
the-
present tadi.
the training. Sorry.
Sorry,
Did you,
boleh. Jangan tengah tunggu second speaker, tunggu Q&A session.
sorry. Okay, sorry for that. Okay, sorry. The second speaker was also involved in development of the training module for CIS 29, CQMS auditor, the trainer, the training module for CQMS contractors, the documentation for CIS 29 CQMS, the quality manual and procedure for CIS 29, and also the audit checklist and guidance for CIS 29. So, Mr. Farid, the floor is yours. Sorry, you're on mute. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Yeah.
Okay, are you hearing me? Okay.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. Hi everyone. For better understanding, I will be presenting my part in Bahasa Malaysia. I hope everyone are okay with it. Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum dan salam sejahtera semua. Pertama sekali, saya ingin mengucapkan ribuan terima kasih kepada moderator webinar kita, Technologies Intan Diana, dan juga CEO CRIM, Mr. IRM Ramuseren, dan juga speaker sesi pertama kita iaitu Technologies Encik Syed Hasni, dan tidak lupa juga kepada peserta yang hadir. Terima kasih banyak-banyak. Okey. Seperti tuan-puan sedia maklum, nama saya Farid Hafizuddin Zamri. Saya merupakan pegawai persijilan bagi program Contractor Quality Management System ini. Jadi, saya akan menerangkan mengenai proses and procedure of Contractor Quality Management System certification. Okey. Langkah pertama bagi proses and procedure of Contractor Quality Management System ini, certification ini ialah pemohon perlu menyerahkan borang pendaftaran beserta dokumen yang berkaitan untuk didaftarkan dan dinilai. Dokumen yang dimaksudkan ialah seperti sijil lesen perniagaan SSM, sijil perakuan pendaftaran kontraktor iaitu PPK, dan juga sijil ISO 9001 jika syarikat tuan-puan adalah, itu ialah optional. Dan langkah kedua, pihak sekretariat iaitu kami akan menyimak borang pendaftaran dan dokumen tuan-puan. Dan langkah ketiga ialah, okey, untuk pengetahuan tuan-puan, pendaftaran ni dikira tidak lengkap sekiranya borang tidak diisi dengan lengkap lah. Dan jelas serta sekretariat iaitu kami berhak memohon sebarang maklumat tambahan sekiranya diperlukan. Pihak sekretariat juga akan memaklumkan kepada pemohon secara bertulis sekiranya pendaftaran akan ditolak. Sekiranya borang tidak diisi dengan lengkap, saya sendiri akan memohon maklumat yang tidak lengkap itu menerusi email lah. Oleh itu, saya berharap tuan-puan mengambil perhatian dan tindakan segera jika menerima email dari pihak CRIM. Jadi, tempoh masa yang diperlukan bagi proses ini adalah selama 3 hari. Berikut merupakan contoh CQMS application form di mana kami hanya meminta maklumat asas dari segi company name, company address, person in charge dan declaration dari applicant lah. Okay, next slide. Ini juga merupakan contoh sijil lesen perniagaan SSM, contoh sijil ISO 9001 dan contoh sijil perakuan pendaftaran kontraktor. Okey. Bagi langkah kelima, pendaftaran tuan-puan ditolak sekiranya pemohon didapati memalsukan maklumat. Memalsukan maklumat yang saya maksudkan ialah dari segi pengubahan terhadap dokumen atau sijil ISO 9001, sijil perniagaan SSM tuan-puan dan juga sijil perakuan pendaftaran kontraktor. Langkah keenam, surat pengesahan pendaftaran kontraktor quality management system ini akan dikeluarkan setelah menerima borang pendaftaran tuan-puan dan dokumen yang lengkap. Surat pengesahan ini juga kami akan menghantar melalui email dan kami akan mengambil tempoh selama 1 hari bekerja setelah dokumen lengkap. Untuk langkah ketujuh, pihak sekretariat akan mengeluarkan surat lantikan auditor. Lantikan auditor ini akan dilantik oleh pihak KRIM sendiri dan kami akan mengambil masa tempoh selama 7 hari bekerja bagi melantik auditor. Untuk langkah ke-8, bagi pengetahuan tuan-puan, auditor menjalankan untuk menjalankan audit di tempat kerja setelah penetapan tarikh audit. Tarikh audit di tempat kerja ini adalah mengikut kesesuaian masa dan persetujuan bersama antara syarikat tuan-puan dan pihak KRIM lah. Untuk langkah ke-9, ia merupakan kesinambungan dari langkah ke-8 lah, di mana auditor akan mengeluarkan laporan audit dan akan dihantar kepada pemohon dan sekretariat KRIM. Audit ini akan dinilai berdasarkan General Management Requirement dan juga Construction Management Requirement mengikut Standard Construction Industry Standard 29 lah. Dan tempoh yang kami perlukan bagi langkah 8 dan langkah 9 ini adalah selama 3 hari. Bagi langkah ke-10, pihak sekretariat akan menerima laporan dan merekodkan untuk tindakan seterusnya. Dan tempoh yang diperlukan adalah selama 3 hari. Okey. Berikut merupakan contoh surat lantikan auditor, tetapi ini ialah bagi product certification lah. Okey. Untuk langkah ke-11, sekiranya terdapat perkara yang tidak mematuhi NCR akan dikeluarkan, pemohon juga akan diberikan 1 bulan untuk menutup penemuan audit tersebut. NCR atau dipanggil Non-Compliance Report akan dikategorikan sebagai 2, iaitu Major NCR dan Minor NCR. Sekiranya syarikat dikenakan Minor NCR kurang daripada 3, syarikat akan dipersejakan tanpa menutup penemuan audit tersebut. Akan tetapi Minor NCR ini perlu ditutup pada surveillance audit pada tahun hadapannya. Sekiranya Minor NCR ini berulang pada surveillance audit tahun berikutnya, Minor NCR tersebut akan dikategorikan sebagai Major NCR lah. Okey, bagi Major NCR pula, syarikat perlu menutup Major NCR itu dalam tempoh masa yang diberikan. Antara contoh yang boleh saya berikan terhadap Minor NCR dan Major NCR ini ialah, okey, contoh untuk Minor NCR ini, jika tiada salah seorang appointment letter dalam team member ataupun memo notification berkenaan tendering. Itu saya akan kategorikan sebagai minor NCR lah. Bagi major NCR pula, kalau syarikat tuan-puan tidak memberi kami data and performance achievement report ataupun internal audit report ataupun management review report, kami akan klasifikasikan ia sebagai major non-compliance report lah. Okey, contoh yang lebih mudah yang saya boleh ambil tentang bagaimana kami menilai ia sebagai minor NCR dan major NCR ialah saya ambil contoh sebagai contoh kereta lah. Tujuan, okey, seperti yang puan sedia maklum, okey, kereta kita gunakan ia untuk bergerak dari satu tempat ke satu tempat yang lain. Jadi, jika kereta tersebut tiada tingkap, adakah kereta itu boleh bergerak? Mestilah boleh kan? Jadi saya akan kategorikan ia sebagai minor NCR. Tapi untuk major NCR pula, jika kereta itu tiada enjin, adakah kereta itu boleh bergerak? Mesti tidak boleh kan? So saya akan kategorikan sebagai ia major NCR. Saya harap semua boleh fahamlah tentang contoh yang saya berikan. Okey, bagi langkah ke-11 ini, tempoh yang diberikan adalah selama 30 hari. Okey, untuk langkah seterusnya, sekiranya semua perkara mematuhi, auditor akan menyediakan recordation paper untuk kelulusan approval committee dan tempoh yang diberikan adalah selama 7 hari. Approval committee merupakan komiti yang meluluskan persijilan CQMS inilah kepada syarikat tuan-puan. Okey, langkah ke-13, setelah sekretariat akan mengeluarkan recommendation paper ini, sekiranya maklumat yang diberikan dipenuhi dan akan diluluskan oleh approval committee lah. Tempoh bagi proses ini adalah selama 1 hari. Okey, untuk langkah ke-14, sekiranya terdapat maklumat tambahan diperlukan, permohonan boleh dibuat kepada sekretariat dengan menyerahkan penyerahan bukti tambahan dalam tempoh 14 hari maksimum. Okey, berikut merupakan contoh audit checklist bagi auditor lah. Alright. Untuk langkah ke-15, pihak Sekretariat KRIM akan memaklumkan dan menghantar sijil CQMS dan proses ini akan mengambil selama 1 hari. Dan untuk langkah yang terakhir iaitu pihak Sekretariat akan menghantar borang maklum balas kepada pelanggan melalui email dan akan kepada pihak pemohon lah. Proses ini juga kami akan ambil masa dalam 1 hari. Okey, jadi ini adalah contoh sijil CQMS yang akan diberikan kepada syarikat tuan-puan lah. Jadi sampai situ sajalah penjelasan saya mengenai proses and procedure of CQMS. Jika tuan-puan ada sebarang pertanyaan mengenai proses and procedure of CQMS certification, tuan-puan boleh ajukan soalan ini di ruangan komen. Sekian, terima kasih.
Oh, minta maaf, saya terlupa buka mic. Terima kasih Cik Farid atas pembintangan tersebut. So, kita sekarang ni akan masuk ke Q&A session lah. So, dijemput Cik Farid dan juga teknologi site untuk ready for the Q&A session. We do have a lot of questions in the chat box. Let me scroll first. Okay, the first question is from Murali Sundarasan. Good morning. The auditors guiding the contractor in this CQMS from CRIM, and is CRIM going to train external auditors to assist like QC external assessor? So, Cik Syed, mungkin boleh jawab.
Okay. 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 Thank you, Mr. Murali. Basically, for the auditor, as mentioned by CEO, we will have currently we develop the training module together with auditor checklist, auditor guide. So as mentioned, we plan to have the first training maybe during the August. So if you are interested to become our auditor, please email to me. Maybe during if you, as I mentioned, we have the selection. So if you comply with the requirement, we will email to you during the first training auditor. Okay.
Okay, thank you. There's one question, but I think our CEO has already answered the whether CQMS is more simpler than the ISO, and yes, it is much more simpler. Next question is from Xiaomi Ching. Are these standard quality manuals template different compared to ISO 9001, especially on GMR requirements?
Okay, thank you. I will answer the question. Basically, GMR is we are focusing on ISO 9001. I think mostly same like the ISO 9001, but we look it because the requirement ISO we still put there. For example, the internal audit, management review, document control, continue of improvement. Almost the ISO 9001 requirement we put under GMR. Okay.
Okay. Okay. All right. Let me see. So yeah, I guess that's all the question. Is that okay for this the pilot project? Must the company who want to join the pilot project must they be based in Klang Valley, or are you open to other states as well?
Okay. Basically, for the pilot project, for we open uh, to other more luar daripada Klang Valley lah. But I think the focus actually because if luar daripada Klang Valley tu, maybe it will be some cost for this travel reimbursement cost.
Mm.
But for the purpose, we try to get the local one because we want to expedite first and look into what improvement we can have during the pilot project.
All right, so there's another question, but I think your slide, Encik Said already answered this, the how to become the CQMS auditor, but maybe you can recap back the what are the requirements to be a CQMS auditor.
Okay, to become the auditor for the CREAM, actually we have some requirement. The first, you need to have ISO 9001 lead auditor, not the awareness, but the training. I think mostly in market for the lead auditor, the training is 5 days training. Then you need to have a 1 day training, conduct with CREAM, 1 day training for the CIS 39 CQMS. Then you need to have experience for the under the construction sector 3 years. Okay.
Okay. Right. Thank you. Next, daripada Cik Nur Aina, untuk kontraktor G7, adakah okey kalau tiada ISO 9001 di mana digantikan dengan CQMS?
Okay. Thank you, Cik Aina. I think this is a good alternative. That's why I think as mentioned by CEO, because ISO 9001 is the standard is very general. They not specific to the contractor. But why CIDB Malaysia established CI 21, CI 29? Because we want to focus on the contractor. I think if you don't have a ISO 9001, this is alternative for you to get the certification that recognized by CIDB Malaysia for ESCO and MCO. It's a good for you to get the point for your construction, your company, your organization. Okay.
Okay. Next question. What are the fees to renew CQMS yearly?
Okay. Okay. Currently, as I mentioned earlier, our pilot is 4,000, including 1 day training for the 2 person. For the yearly, maybe I think around the 3,000. But it not include the reimbursable because I think that's why we want to establish the ecosystem and support system for the auditor, because if you have a lot of auditor around the Malaysia, it will be a help for the industry to control the cost for the fees. Okay.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Next question is from Theo Cone, sorry. For those who have ISO 9001 certification, are they required for another round of certification?
Okay. For your information, under the standard, if you have ISO 9001, you not required to have CQMS 39. But if you want to have the value added on your organization, CRIM welcome that. But if you are ISO 9001, it's not compulsory to have a CI 29.
Okay, right. Next question is from Faiz Musa. Is the certification fee for G1 is the same, 4,000 ringgit?
Okay, same. All the fees same because we flat the price from the G1 until G7.
Alright. So regardless the contractor grade, the fees are the same lah.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Right. And question from Idayu, any specific trade that will be chosen for pilot project?
Okay, as mentioned earlier, for the pilot project, we will select from the G1 until G7. That's why we need to have a participant from the various grade because we want to implement maybe G1 3 because we have 20 pilot. So maybe we can distribute based on the grade until G1 to G7 because we want to know the standard it can be comply all the grade. This the kind. That's why we do this pilot. This our intention for the pilot project. That's why for the requirement, there no requirement either UG7 only, other UGC only, but we want to have from G1 until G7. Then we do the selection with our management.
Okay. All right, thank you. Next question. What is the basic pre-requirements to apply and join CQMS pilot project? My company is not 100% involved in construction. However, we involved in equipment, machinery installation, testing and commissioning at construction site. Can I still apply for CQMS or for the pilot project?
Okay, I think this question is very good because as mentioned, this only for the contractor. If you want to apply based on your based on requirement, what you say that it is not, I think you cannot comply all the requirement. So when you can comply all the requirement, for example, you don't have uh, the requirement for the construction activities, so it quite difficult to give your certification because almost the requirement not comply. You only just supply the machinery. Okay, I think CS 29 is focused on the contractor. Okay.
Okay. Alright, next question is from Aina. Kalau syarikat mempunyai dua CJ di mana ISO dan CQMS, mana yang akan dapat markah lebih untuk skor?
Okay, very trick question. Okay, dia dalam dalam CIMS, dia currently as mentioned, dia punya score, dia akan fokus ISO 9001. Okay, currently. If you have alternative, you can choose either one. Maka dia akan sama lah dia punya markah tu. Tapi kalau you hantar certificate ISO 9001, you tak perlu hantar apa ni CI 29. Tapi kalau you tak ada CI 29, you tak ada ISO 9001, this is alternative for you as a contractor to get mark under the CIMS.
Okay. Alright, I hope that answered your questions. Next question. If company is still new, not complete documentation templates available yet, should we prepare all documents required before we apply for CQMS, or will CRIM assist and guide us on the documentation based on CQMS standards? Means we can apply without having the complete documentation in place. Can they do that?
Okay. Yes. If you come as a pilot project, as mentioned, we will coach you until you get the certification. But I think the very important is you need to have involved under the construction. Either the project is maybe 2 years ago, 1 year ago, but the record is there. We will coaching you until you get the certification because without any project, it's quite difficult to certify you. So maybe currently you don't have project, but last year you have a project. So we will certify you based on the sampling of the project. Okay.
Okay, thank you. Satu lagi soalan. Adakah CQMS diperlukan untuk syarikat premix plant?
Cara?
Adakah CQMS diperlukan untuk syarikat premix plant?
Premix plant.
Hmm.
No. We are only focus the contractor because premix plant, I think currently dia tak ada mana-mana certification lah premix plant kecuali ready mix concrete lah. Sebab dia dah di bawah jadual keempat Akta 520. Tapi kalau premix plant ni saya rasa setakat ni tak ada mana-mana regulatory body yang buat certification berkaitan dengan premix plant ni.
Okay, alright. So only for contractors and CQMS.
Yes.
Okay.
Only for contractor.
Alright. I think this is a question again from Siu Mi Ching. Okay. First of all, thank you, Technology Site, for answering. My company is one of the subcontractor where we involve in site works like machine installation, etc. Therefore, we have gotten the CIDB contractor certification also G7. So we still cannot apply for CQMS or pilot project.
Okay. For this purpose, I think maybe I need to look into your business culture first, because kadang-kadang kita bila dapat application ni, kalau the first stage tu dia bila kita tengok dia punya requirement, contohnya maybe dia ada tendering process, tapi dia punya kalau dia punya aktiviti tu mencukupi ataupun kecukupan kepada standard tu ada, sebenarnya dia boleh certify. But I need to look into first your business culture, because kadang-kadang kontraktor ni dia ada banyak. Dia ada civil, dia ada structure, dia ada mechanical, dia ada electrical, dia ada buat kerja-kerja piping saja, kan. Dia ada banyak. Tapi kita boleh tengok dululah. Dia punya requirement tu adakah dia memenuhi keperluan standard tu.
Jadi bila orang apply untuk join this pilot project, mungkin pihak KRIM akan check all the documentation sama ada dia layak atau tidak lah untuk
betul.
join kan. Okay. Adakah ada mana apa-apa jenis dokumen ke yang perlu untuk orang submit the KRIM?
Okay, nanti once kita dah buat selection, kita akan hantar satu application form lah. During the application form, ada certain dokumen yang kita perlukan lah untuk kita verify. Then after that, baru kita proceed with the auditing process.
Okay, so kita akan buat selection first and then check whether dia layak untuk join kita punya pilot project lah.
Yes.
Alright. So next question from Chong. Contractor for bore pile or building, can they apply for pilot project?
Yes, can. They can apply for the project. Certification.
CQMS. Yeah. Okay. Next, when is the due date to apply CQMS pilot project and when will be the result available?
Okay, you can apply now. Nanti
We will share the tu.
Technologist Intan Diana akan share dia punya link tu. Boleh apply sekarang dan kita plan to have the result maybe early of August to select 20 company for the pilot project.
Okay. Alright, so speaking of that, I will share the QR code. Okay, can you guys see this screen? Wait, let me make it. Okay, so this is the you can scan the QR code there untuk join our pilot project, so just key in all your details and then bahagian pihak KRIM lah will do all the selection and then we will contact you if you are eligible for the CQMS project pilot project. So saya biarkan dia on the screen for a few minutes, so if you guys can scan the QR code. This pilot project is open only for those who join this webinar. So you very special lah for all of you, for all the participants. Yeah, and then while waiting for you to scan, there's another question here from Ms. Selina. According to the answers given, can I say if contractor G7 already have the ISO 9001, there's no need for us to apply for CQMS certification, right? It's not a compulsory, right?
Yes,
Right?
yes,
Mm.
yes. Not compulsory.
Yeah. If you guys have any other question, you can ask now because we have the master here with us, so he can answer all the question for you.
Okay, just to share under
Mm-hmm.
just to share to all the participants under the clause 1.4b, they already mentioned this document is not applicable for contractor who are already been certified to ISO 9001. So it means that it's not compulsory. We are focusing on the contractor who don't have a quality management system.
Mm.
Okay.
Also, the CQMS is much more affordable compared to the ISO 9001, right?
Yes, yes.
Mm. Okay, and you can also download the CRS 29 at the CIDB website to learn more about the CQMS, right? The soft copy is available at their website. Right. Can I see that there's no more question? And I hope everyone has scanned the QR code. If there's something wrong with the link or anything, you can just email to us at marketing@cream.my. And if you want to know more about the CQMS, I think they can directly contact you, right, Jit, at your email. So I will share his email in the chat box. There's another question here. Based on the timeline shared by Mr. Farid earlier, there will be extra time or days given to applicant to prepare the documents requirement based on the CQMS manuals, right? Ada extra time
Yeah.
for the applicant to prepare.
Okay. Okay, right. Basically, it depends on the critical of the standard compliance. But if you have some justification, for example, you want to get material from the certified material from the supplier, we will consider because this is a requirement under regulatory body. So if you don't comply the requirement, how we can certify you? So please, we can have. It depends on the critical of the evidence, but we have some. Maybe we have some. You have some justification. Maybe the auditor will consider about that. Okay.
Okay, all right. So I guess that's all for today's webinar. We can see that there are so many of you who are interested in the pilot project, so that's good news. And Kim, we will do our best to guide you until you get the CQMS certification. All right, and then you can also go to our website to learn more about CQMS and then the pilot project. So with that, I want to thank our speakers today, Technology Site Hazni, Abdul Ghani, and also Cik Farid Hafizuddin Zamri for being with us and with the participant to share all this information about the CKMS and also pilot project. I would like to also thank all the participants for your active participation. If you have any question, I already shared the marketing email and also site's email in the chat box, so you can just email to us for more information. And then we will also share the presentation slides with all of you with your e-certificates via email. So please kindly check your inbox from time to time. All right. So before we leave, let's have a quick photo session. And I would really appreciate if everyone could turn on your camera. Wait. Okay, I already allow everyone to turn their camera on. So today we have 130 participants for the webinar. So thank you everyone for spending your day with us. Let's wait for everyone to turn on their camera. Okay. All right. Okay, keep smiling. Okay, I'm gonna take some few shots. 1, 2. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Sorry, Mr. Chong, is there any problem for you to turn on your camera? I think your camera is already on. All right. Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Smile. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Smile. Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us this morning. We hope that you get selected for the pilot project. And then if you have any questions again, you can contact us and also Encik's side. In the meantime, please follow our social media and also visit our website to know more about our webinar. As I said earlier, our CREAM webinar series is a monthly program. So every month we're gonna have a different topics to talk about. So we really appreciate if you can join our webinars and also our events that CREAM is organizing. All right, so visit us at our website www.cream.my and also our social media. All right, so I guess that's all. Thank you so much, everyone, and have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, bye.